Ladies and gentlemen, step right up, no need to push, no need to shove, everybody's gonna get their head kicked in at Uncle James's Get Your Head Kicked In Emporium. There is no national shortage. Who wants a free sample? I am giving out 100% free samples of getting your head kicked in. Just as long as I have this one skill right here. If you don't have the head kicking skill, combat for the first 10 hours at least of Dying Light is unfair and repetitive. Oh look, a 230-pound semi-military corporate contractor airdropping into tropical zombie paradise with a little James Bond pistol that he immediately loses, by the way. And the moment our muscle-bound contractor gets into combat with unarmed, rotting corpses, he can only just barely swing a metal pipe into a zombie's head. Swing it over and over. Swing it until he's exhausted. Swing until the pipe breaks in half. And that zombie just keeps on coming. But just get to level 9 and the apocalypse becomes a walk in the Apoca Park. It's like this guy lands, survives for 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden, wait, what? I can kick zombies? That's awesome, because I'm built like this. Why didn't I think of this before? Once you get the "oh my god, this game is fun now" skill, the combat actually gets kinda cool and flowy, even though you will never ever need weapons ever again to deal with the normal shambling zombies. The big ones and the scary ones not so much, not to mention those mercenaries hired by that warlord to intercept the only supplies that exist in this little neck of hell. What was this game anyhow? What am I... Dying Light is a first-person, free-running, action melee combat game, the enhanced edition of which released earlier this year, with mild RPG elements and a strong emphasis on tight-fitting track pants, tribal tattoos, and welding goggles for no real reason. The zombie apocalypse hit the third world hard, a mysterious virus forcing a quarantine by the local government of the fictional island of Haran. Or the city of Haran. It's not really clear here. The best part of Dying Light is the first-person parkour, which kept me saying, oh yeah, I could totally climb that for hours after playing. It's certainly not as smooth as, say, Mirror's Edge, and the parkour is a bit more rough around the edges, but it's a little more interesting to me because of the open nature of it. That's all I can really say about it. It's really cool to be able to fling yourself across the rooftops of a shantytown, climb up the walls of dilapidated buildings, and like any parkour game worth its salt, jump 20-odd stories onto a pile of something that's apparently soft enough to break the laws of physics and your fall simultaneously.
One day I'm gonna do this and end up landing on a bag of rusty knives, I just know it.
The combat, by contrast, is multifaceted. It starts out absolutely awful. You just swing and swing and swing at these zombies that have these uninterruptible charges. Like, I just kicked that fucker in the chest with my super legs, but he's in the animation now, so he's gonna grab you and bite your face off. Nothing you can do. Power attacks? Nope. Midair jumping? Nope. Dodging? Kinda. Still? Nope. Smashing in the face with a sledgehammer? Nope. Nothing stops that charge. Nothing, of course, until you unlock some of the late-level skills let you RTE out of it, or some of the later dodging skills which let you snap out of their range before the animation starts. But until you get those skills, you are stuck for at least 5, maybe 10 hours of frustrating, repetitive, unfair, stupid combat with broke-ass weapons that either start out useless or become so over time. And then you unlock the head stomp. And everything changes. A renaissance of combat. You can all of a sudden insta-kill zombies that are below you. Bring Hulkamania to Haran. You can do this sliding leg break move and leave whole gardens of writhing bodies. You can body slam zombies to the ground and kick their stupid faces in. It's crazy, absurd, on the bare edge of laughable, and it's friggin' awesome. Half of this crap, the head stomp especially, should have been a normal part of the gameplay. Maybe not all heads at leg level like the way the game is now, where you can literally line a whole mob of zombies around a small sedan and kill all of them without using a single weapon, but if you smash a zombie to the ground, you should be able to easily dispatch it somehow. Once you have some of these skills that give you a leg up, the weapon combat becomes a lot more tolerable as well, and you eventually unlock weapons that actually do the kind of damage you would expect a katana, machete, or sledgehammer to actually do. Problem is, to get to this point, you have to grind. All of the other skills like agility and survival don't affect your ability to fight zombies at all. You have to fight them to get better at fighting them. So, just do what I did, collect some rusty pipes, and sit on top of a van or something and just swing until you can't swing no more! And this is not to say that pre-headstomp combat doesn't have its moments, like luring zombies to kill themselves on spikes or traps, but it's damned irresponsible to just leave the players without a single sneaker to defend themselves with for 7 hours. Even if the difficulty is meant to drive the player to avoid groups of zombies, run rather than fight, you then get these combat missions which straight up force you to fight big old groups of nape nibblers, and by the time you're done hitting your head against that particular wall, you wish you'd bucked the curve and grind it a little bit along the way. The day-night cycle helps out a little bit with this issue, doubling XP gain while the sun is down, and it's pretty cool if lopsided a bit. There's no movie dark here. You can't see a foot in front of your face without a flashlight, but of course, the light draws attention from the Nightwalkers, the Virals, the Volatiles, who are all absurdly dangerous and just about as blind. With your Spidey Sense, Bat Vision, Area Pulse technique, you can pretty easily avoid areas with the crazy night zombies. It's just, again, those special circumstances where you have to get close that are the problem. Dying's rudimentary stealth system should get you by them in most cases. If you do get seen, get ready for a flat-out parkour sprint through dark alleyways and across moonlit rooftops to escape. They can run faster than you across open ground, but traverse complicated height and direction changes poorly, so you have a chance of outrunning them if you're quick thinking and fast on your feet, or fingers. These chases are really cool, and aside from the parkour itself, are probably one of the highlights of the game. A highlight that you are actively trying to avoid the entire game, but when you do have to run for your life from squid-faced night hunters, it's exhilarating and fucking fun as hell. I'm also waiting for the one skill that lets me one-shot these guys, because that's the kind of game we're dealing with here. Absurdly hard challenges, which are instantly circumvented with a single click of a button. Can't parkour good? Well, here's a grappling hook. Can't combat good? Well, just stand on some waist-high cover, wait for the horde to try and clamber over, and kick their heads in. The framework for this metaphorical house is equally stilted, but still worthy. The story really only has 3 problems. Jade, the main character who occupies most of the NPC screen space, is a MacGuffin for most intents and purposes. Ah, geez, Jade wants me to do something? Better go do it. Oh, geez, Jade left the compound? Better go follow her. Oh, geez, Jade needs antizin? Better go get some. You're constantly in a cycle of saving each other throughout the game. She saves you, you save her, saving each other from the villain, Rice, who constantly philosophizes about choice, super ironically in a AAA video game where choice over the direction of the narrative is a fleeting dream at best. Okay, Dan Jolie, we get it. It's so fucking meta. Now maybe climb out of the pit of cyclical philosophies about choice versus destiny and write an antagonist who's maybe a little less of a hand-wringing villain. Race constantly sets Crane up with, "No, I expect you to die" traps. I could kill you, Mr. Crane, but I would rather watch you fight a giant zombie instead. I could kill you, Mr. Crane, but I'd rather watch you suffer a false diagrammatical choice instead. I'm so deliciously evil. So aside from, the main characters, the story is really well told as far as I'm concerned. The writing is believable, if not rote, for a modern zombie game. Oh gee, the people who want the cure are actually trying to exploit it, and there's only one scientist who has the judgment, brains, and maturity to score a cure in the bulk line game of science, which doesn't help Crane, of course, spells trouble. Trouble right here in the city with a capital T, and that rhymes with Z, and that stands for zombies. And of course, Crane is infected too. The only thing saving him from frittering his mealtime, chore time, supper time away from moaning for brains is antizin, the miracle cure of which, of course, is in very short supply. Everyone wants it, nobody has it, and the runners are the only ones capable of braving the outside world to get it. The beginning of the story shows far more promise than the narrative delivers. Once Jade and Rice start monopolizing the story, it kind of takes a nosedive into repetitive and predictable places, and the moment you run out of decent side missions to complete, you'll actually have to finish the campaign, where Jade gets captured by the evil Dr. Race, and you gotta deliver the cure so he won't kill her, but he probably will. Oh no, it was a trap, and you gotta fight him, and it's a real-time event. So that just kind of throws out all the consistency we had in the first however many hours of the game, and of course, there's an out-of-body experience right before the end, and gosh, doesn't Dying Light really just want to be Far Cry? I mean, main character who has to seek constant supply of drugs or he'll die, trapped in a place with a psychotic main character who is constantly philosophizing, who you stab through the chest in a real-time event, with giant towers you gotta climb via single-solution parkour puzzle, which pisses the living crap out of me, since there's a fully-fledged parkour system in the game, and there's a bunch of potential solutions to this puzzle, but only one works because reasons and developers, so I have to spend a fucking assload of time trying to figure out which of the railing the developers want me to use rather than ones that make sense. So gosh, where do I get off calling the story good when it's so derivative and in some places downright stupid? Well, I don't know, Dying Light is as a whole kind of like that B-movie that really gets to you for some reason, even though everyone else kind of really hates it. All of the characters are individually well written, but they interact in stupid ways which I've become accustomed to, and I don't mind going through again because it is familiar and comforting in a way. So, as long as you don't mind grinding and a little bit of mixed difficulties, themes, and writing, then strap some baseball bats to your legs, get on some waist-high objects, and start kicking in some Zed hits. Yeah, there's a co-op mode too, and it kind of works.